Hey folks, Caleb here. Just letting you know that we'll be starting in just a couple minutes. Hey everybody, thanks for everyone who's joined us so far. We're going to get started right around 6:05. I'm just getting ready to send out a quick reminder email to all of the folks who haven't joined yet, see if we can get a few more people on board. Well, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. I want to thank everyone who's been able to join us, and glad that everyone could make it. If you're not able to stay for the full time, or if you're trying to, or if you know of people who aren't able to make it, this is being recorded and it will be posted ahead of time or after the meeting is over, so that people can join or review it as needed. We'll also be sending out the slides from today as well. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of launch into things here. Thank you all for coming. This is our pre-market meeting for the 2020-2021 winter market season. We are really excited to share a lot of the exciting things that are going to be happening this year. The big news is already out of the bag, of course, but I'm going to be able to go into some of those details and really kind of show everyone what we've got to do this year. So without further ado, first off, if you don't know me, I'm Caleb Smith. I'm the market coordinator. I also want to introduce Denise Retz. If you haven't met her, she's our park superintendent. Denise, do you have anything you want to go over really quick?
Well, first of all, thank you all the vendors for your patience as we try to figure out what was the best possible option for the market for the winter season. And I'm really excited about the level of commitment each and every vendor has given and helped with during this time. I know these have been unprecedented times, and we've been working hard to make sure that the market remains open and is deemed an essential service, as we all feel it is. So just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for your commitment, and also for agreeing to our policies and procedures so we can keep this market open and moving strongly and forward. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Denise. Moving down, I believe I know everyone on the call or on this webinar, but just in case, I'm Caleb Smith. I'm the Farmers Market Coordinator. We also have some of our members of the advisory team on the call. Some of those folks include Jerry Toshlog, John Dudas, and there are others as well. And that's an open meeting that on the third Thursday of each month, if anyone's ever interested. Then contact info for the farmers market, our Gmail address is up there, as long as my personal city email. The basics, I'm going to speed through some of this stuff because a lot of you have heard it before. But just as a reminder, our mission is to support local small-scale farmers and gardeners by providing a marketing opportunity to sell homegrown produce and homemade farm-related items directly to consumers. We have no auction items or resale. And the Winter Richmond Farmers Market will be open on Saturdays from November through April from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a 3-hour market as opposed to a 4-hour as we do during the summer. We've experimented with it over the years a few different ways and have found that the 3-hour works a lot better. And we start later in the day to allow plow crews the time to clear roads if there is an overnight storm or something like that. It causes less cancellations. Also helps folks who, when it's real dark in the mornings, we don't want to have people trying to leave when it's dark out. So the only times we don't have the market during the winter months is the holiday weekends or right after holidays. So this year, there'll be no market on November 28th, December 26th, or January 2nd. Other than that, there'll be a market every Saturday. Fun little fact, we are one of 3 markets in the state of Indiana that's open every Saturday year round. Most winter markets only happen a couple times a month, but we used to be that way, but we changed. I believe this will be our 3rd year doing every Saturday. So pretty exciting. We get a lot of kudos from some of the state folks for that. So, and it seems that our customers like that. We'll be opening on November 7th, will be our first Saturday market. Last Saturday market is going to be April 24th. if there's any interest in extra pop-up markets or extended hours at certain times of the year, send me a note, or you can put it into the Q&A or something like that, just because that'll help me understand what the desire is there. So we have a couple special holiday markets or special markets planned. Holiday market on December 5th, a Valentine's Day market on February 13th, and potentially a spring plant swap if that's something folks are interested in doing. I know it used to be a fairly popular tradition that the market used to hold years and years ago. So it's something that we had thought about bringing back for this year, but then obviously things got a little complicated because of COVID-19. So that won't be, that we weren't able to do that this year, but maybe for next year, if it's something of interest, we'll look at bringing that back. Wanted to just highlight our weather clause for everybody, just to make sure that you all are aware. We operate on all posted market dates unless there is a severe weather resulting in a state of emergency or a travel advisory. We'll always send out notifications over email, phone call, social media, text message. We have that one call system which we've been utilizing this year, and that works out really well. However, I want to caveat that it's always the vendor's choice, whether or not related, whether or not you want to attend. We just ask that you give us a heads up if we do go ahead with a market and you decide not to attend. And that's where the my cell phone number is. That's about the best time only time to really use that. But anyways, so this year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we won't be able to hold the Winter Farmers Market at the Richmond Senior Center as we have for the past 2 years. It's just been it's been a wonderful location for us. We want to thank them for their hospitality and allowing us to be there. However, for this year and potentially in future years, we'll be having the winter market at the Star Jeanette building. This is a historical building that used to be the Star Piano Factory back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It was renovated in 2016 by the Parks Department in the city of Richmond. It's now an event space. It's located at 101 South First Street. The way to get there, if you've never been down there, is you turn onto South First Street, right by the C&O Railroad Trestle on East Main Street across from Veterans Park. So that's where that big LED Richmond sign is that changes colors. And it's a quick drive down there. It's a 12,000 square foot building. It's ADA accessible. It has on-site restrooms. It has Wi-Fi and security cameras, an 88 spot parking lot, and 110 volt electric receptacles, which are spaced out around the building about every 20 feet. And it's a great facility. On this map here, I just wanted to show everybody this at the top right is where the Summer Farmers Market is. This is Jack Elstro Plaza. And then right down here is the Star Jeanette building. So it's really not far. It's less than 2 miles, probably maybe less than a mile even. And it is a little bit tucked away. It is down in the gorge, but I think we've got some great plans in the works to help educate people about where it is. And a lot of the community visits there throughout the year for various weddings, or the Richmond Shakespeare Festival happens down there. So a lot of different uses that people understand where that location is. So it is currently an open air facility. And I want to just let you all know that we are moving forward and hopefully launching in the next week a fundraising campaign to help pay for the improvements for the space for the winter activation of this area, including the Winter Farmers Market. So we won't be the only people using it throughout the winter. We're really excited as the Parks Department about doing some other programming and rentals and things throughout the week at this facility, especially with people looking for larger spaces for social distancing while still being able to have events. So that's one of the main benefits of this project. So our goal is going to be raising $15,000 from the local community. And once we go live, we'll have 30 days to do that. This is a matching campaign through Patronicity and the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority's Creating Places program. If you've been following what the Parks Department does in the past few years, we've used this program several times. It's a great program. Every donation that we get during those 30 days will be matched 100%. So the total cost that we've determined for the project to winterize this facility is about $30,000, and to make it fully functional throughout the year. So that money is going to go towards a few different things. We're working with Primex Plastics. They've really stepped up to help us create temporary window panels that are going to go into each window. And then we're also working on putting out to bid a project to put in a 900,000 BTU forced air heating system, which is the biggest kind of single expense for this. We're also looking to do some improved restroom ventilation, making some aesthetic improvements, purchasing some temporary decoration type things to help make it more homey during the colder months. And then doing some enhanced advertising for the winter market. So part of this is beyond our normal budget for advertising, doing some extra stuff to help ensure that everyone can everyone in the community knows about the winter market and what we're doing. So we're really excited about this fundraising campaign. You know, we're moving forward ahead of time. So we believe that the community is gonna really come together around this project. We've already heard a lot of excitement. So even though we have 30 days to raise this money, we're going ahead with the project regardless. Most of the major improvements should be done by the time the market starts. If the heating system isn't able to be installed, we will rent some temporary heaters just to bridge those couple weeks if we need to. We're hoping that that's not the case, but you know, if we have to do it, it will be warm in there. We won't have any issues. So rest assured that that's gonna be the case. So we know that the community is really going to come together around this. And in fact, we already have. Three Rivers Federal Credit Union has already come on board as of today as our presenting sponsor for the winter market. We're really excited. They're going to be our kind of major our major sponsor for the winter months. And they're going to kind of help us kick off the fundraising campaign as well. So we're really excited about that, and we're already on our way to making that happen. Just a couple pictures here to let you know what the space is if you haven't been down there. This is a view from the parking lot. This is the inside of the space. Again, it's 12,000 square feet. We're going to have lots of room for everyone to spread out. And then, you know, this is a picture of someone who is setting up for a wedding down there a few years ago that we have. And we're going to try and see if we can replicate this feel a little bit. You know, we're going to be there during the daytime, of course, and we'll have lots of natural light as well. Just wanted to cover a couple things from the technical standpoint. So for home-based vendors, those who are selling food out of your home, we want to make sure that everyone is up to date on what you need to do with the Wayne County Health Department and the Indiana State Department of Health. And then if you sell eggs, poultry, rabbit, or other food products, of course, make sure to work with the Indiana State Egg Board for eggs, poultry, or rabbit. And then the Office of the Indiana State Chemist if you're doing any products meant for non-human, like pet consumption. So those are the two regulatory agencies that you need to work with. HBV products as well. There's some non-acceptable items. Salsa is the big one. And anyone who's selling a potentially hazardous product, which we'll go into. The most important thing on home-based vendor products is the labeling requirements. So just a couple things. There's 6 pieces of information that need to be on each on each product. First one is an address and name of the business and a telephone number. The approximate weight or volume of the package, the date it was created on, the common or general name of the product, your ingredients, including sub-ingredients, and then this statement in at least 10-point font that states that the product's home produced and processed and that the production area has not been inspected by the State Department of Health. Couple health code highlights for everybody. Make sure that, well, this sampling is actually not applicable. I should have taken that out. We're going to skip that. Just my favorite. I want you to take responsibility for learning and understanding health code. If you're doing any food products, it's on you from a legal liability standpoint. However, it's on all of us to make sure that the social reputation of the market and our reputation of having safe, clean, and healthy foods is upheld. So make sure that you fully understand all health code regulations. Following items are prohibited under all circumstances at the market. Firearms, open or unauthorized alcoholic beverages, unleashed pets, and items that are not approved by us, local or state health department, or any other legal authority. Produce for sale may not be cut open, and no potentially hazardous food items as defined by home-based vendor laws for Indiana, or anything else that doesn't align with health department standards. Make sure to review those packing and labeling requirements as always. Craft vendors, especially as we get into the winter season, are a super important and valued part of our market. We are a farmers market, so our focus is always going to be on local food. However, we have plenty of space as always, so we always love to have craft vendors come on board. We do uphold that same level of that same standard for all of the artisan vendors as we do for food vendors. So everything must be grown, made, or baked by the person selling it. So art and handcrafted items should be significantly handmade in some way. Let's see. I'm going to touch on some COVID-19 information really quickly. So regulations are going to be very similar to summer 2020. We'll have a full list of these coming soon. However, some highlights. Masks and facial coverings over the mouth and nose are going to be required for all customers and vendors throughout the winter season. Free disposable masks are going to continue to be offered. In-booth hand washing and or glove changes between each customer and frequent hand washing no matter what are still required. We'll be spacing booths out 10 feet between each vendor as we've done in the summer. We're still requiring that vendors and their staff be the only ones to handle products prior to being sold. This is just to make sure that there's not a lot of high contact on products, things like that. An empty social distancing table is required to be placed inside the booth. During the summer, we've kind of allowed people's social distancing tables to kind of drift out from their booth area. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that this year with our aisle width. So that's going to be the empty social distancing tables are going to have to be inside your 10 by 10 booth space. No demonstrations or sampling throughout the winter months. It's just too high risk of an activity. And then any staff of the market, vendors, and customers are all required to stay home if they're sick or have been exposed to anyone suspected or confirmed to have COVID-19 in the past 14 days. If staff or a vendor test positive, you are required, as is, kind of the norm, to isolate for 14 days and be able to present negative test results before returning to the market. And as I said, we'll provide that full list for the winter season. If you don't know, we have our SNAP or food stamps double dollars program with an ongoing grant from Reed Community Benefit. There's about 4,500 families in Wayne County. 3,400 of those are in Richmond, with more than $1 million in SNAP benefits being allocated to Wayne County families each year. And then we have people from multiple counties and even states who come to use EBT benefits at the market. So definitely, it's a huge part of our business. Vendors and these are for use for any food products. And there's just a brief application that's good for 3 years. And SNAP usage, last winter season, we were cut about a month and a half short. So we were at about $4,600 by the end of that time. And then in the summer 2020 season so far, and this is without a couple of the most recent weeks worth of data, we've done almost $29,000 in SNAP, partially due to the pandemic EBT program and also due to increased SNAP distributions by the state. Everyone in the state, I believe, who's on SNAP was upped to the maximum benefit level. So it's a great program. It brings in a lot of funds for the market. So we encourage everyone to take advantage of it if you're able. A couple considerations. Always encourage people to reach out to customers if possible through social media channels, but also at the market. Being on your phone, not engaging with people as they walk by are all great ways to lose a sale really fast. If you're selling food items, giving out easy recipes, because a lot of people don't know how to cook things, or nutritional facts, and of course, accepting the SNAP benefits will draw a lot more people to you. But in general, the most important thing is to have an attractive display, have a smiling face, and just try to work with people, engage them in conversation, tell them your story, all of those things. So just a couple notes about promotion and advertising more specifically. We advertise the winter market and all the markets in a wide variety of ways. We've already reserved a billboard right next to the entrance to the Star Jeanette facility for the months of November and December. We're just going to put a giant 30-foot wide arrow on it, pointing people into the facility. But we're going to have those up. We also do radio ads. We have a great partnership with Whitewater Broadcasting, which is G1013 and WKBV, ESPN Radio, and a few other stations. They run 50 ads a week for us year round. And so we're already getting ready with some new radio ads to go out in the next few weeks. Do a lot of advertising on social media, our bi-weekly email newsletters, press releases to local media, special events to help bring in more people, and then posters and flyers. And that's not exhaustive, but that's the majority of ways we promote the market. Also want to just touch on the fact that it's up to all of us, though, to help promote the market. Using your own personal network, social media, if you have business pages or not, either one, they're all important to the success of the market. Telling people about it at your job, at your church, at the daycare or dance studio that your kids go to, all of those things. And we'll have posters and flyers available for people to take to those locations, but also just sending a note out over the all employee email list, or mentioning it to folks wherever you can in church announcements, anything like that are all hugely helpful for getting people out. They come to see one person, but then they go around and walk and see all of the booths. And so it really does impact and benefit when we all kind of do that promotion as well. So going to talk a little bit about some of the hard details for this season. We'll be all fees, as I kind of touched on before, are used to support the promotion and operation of the market, including public relations, marketing expenses, supplies, market fixtures, and other business expenses, including me. As a couple people may have noticed from our email last week, there was a small fee increase this year that was approved by the park board, due to fee increases across the park system, in facility rentals and in program fees in years past, but also due to the major facility improvements that we're making to the Star Jeanette building for the winter market. So this year there'll be only one type of season pass. It's $150 for a 10 by 10 space. And the major benefit is that you get locked in for that space for all 22 winter markets. This works out to $6.81 per market, which is a pretty dang good deal. We'll also have a daily pass option. The per market booth fee is $15 for this year. So plan for that if you're not going to do a season pass, but you can see the savings of doing a season pass really do add up. So this is a little map of the vendor spaces, and we'll show this more and share it afterwards as well. I know people are probably, this is the main thing they're looking at or wanting to see, but this is a map of the Star Jeanette building. We have 31 spaces mapped out. Half of those we will not be using. Any space in gray is not going to be used this year due to social distancing. However, in future years, those spaces will become available. The block in the middle here that doesn't have numbers, we won't be allocating these as season pass spots, but they'll be flexible for daily passes as we need, or we may bring in seating or other options to kind of fill in this space in the middle. But we're not going to allocate any of those as full-time year-round season pass spaces, but we're just going to go off of the 16 kind of pinkish beige spaces that you see around the outside. There are two entrances to the building. The main entrance that we'll be using is by the tower at the south end, and that's the ADA accessible area. There's also a set of stairs that can be used, but we're going to try and direct the majority of people to enter and exit through this main entrance down at the end. Season pass placement. I know last week in the email I sent out, we had talked about doing a lottery after this meeting today. After some discussion amongst the park staff here, we've decided to push that back by a week. So vendors wishing to be season pass holders can enter into a lottery. And as vendors are drawn, you'll be able to choose spaces. So we do that lottery in 4 parts. Returning vendors who have held a season pass either this past summer season or past winter season, we split that out by farmers versus crafters, and then we do the same thing with new, there's a typo there. That last one should say new crafter/artisan vendors. So a week from today, we'll be holding the season pass space lottery in person at the Star Jeanette building. Masks will be required for people as they're there. We'll open the building for space preview at 5 p.m. and then we'll hold a lottery at 6 p.m. If you're not able to attend that, we'll send out a form that you can fill out kind of with your spot choice rankings. And then either you can attend that if your preferred space isn't available during that, or if you or if they're all drawn, it'll be like kind of rank your choices 1 through 5. You'll be able to choose either whether you'd like a provisional spot assigned, or after the meeting, we'll start contacting people with updated availability in the order that they were chosen. So that's kind of the plan there. And I think that'll be a nice way. We were thinking about it, and we just couldn't see a good way to have people choose spaces without having any idea of what it was going to be like. And then that'll give us a little bit of time to also ground truth everything and have applications ready to go as well. So that's our plan. And if people have any questions or concerns, we'll address those at the end, or you can contact me after this. So applications, vendors, people who want to become a vendor, you need to fill out a new application every season. That is something that we get a lot of questions about due to changes in rules and guidelines and things like that. We always ask for a new application, also updating contact information, stuff like that. If you need a site visit, it'll be scheduled within 5 business days after your submission. We'll try to get the applications as quick as we can. However, we have a 6 business day processing window, and applications must be approved and on file prior to the start of the first market you attend. So you can't set up without an application. Anyone who wants to be a vendor has to do those. Nonprofits, we also require an application. And I think that is all I have right now. A little bit quicker than normal. I wanted to leave time for questions. If people want to submit questions through Zoom's Q&A service, or if you'd like to do that through, I'm trying to watch the comments on the Facebook video as well. So you can also submit those through there, but I'll kind of open it up if people want to put any questions they have into that Q&A box. As I said before, we will send out these slides and a copy of the recording of this after this meeting. Applications, we're waiting for our IT department to put together the fillable form. So we should have that ready by the end of the week. Paper copies will be available on Saturday at the market, if nothing else. And then we'll have everyone come out to fill out the applications, and we'll send out that link to do it electronically as well by the end of this week or early next week. As everything this year, COVID has made everything move slower and take longer than it should, unfortunately. But we're glad that everyone is, and we appreciate everyone's patience. So not seeing any questions coming in yet, but I will stick around if there are any. Denise, is there anything else that you want to share that I missed throughout this presentation? Not sure if she's available. Let's see.
Caleb, I just want to again thank the vendors for their time. I'm really excited about this location. I think it's going to be perfect. I think people are going to be really excited to have the winter market be a destination. We talked a lot about being able to bring in food trucks here, being able to have more room, kind of making it an open canvas for you. And so I think you did a good job, telling everyone what's going to need to happen. And I look forward to the vendors applying. I think that we made the adjustment on the vendor fees because we needed to, and we appreciate their understanding with that. We hope that the vendors also understand that, we're here for them and this is what we're doing. We're doing this for them. We're barely breaking even over on our end. It's a service that we're providing. So just thank you for your patience and understanding as we continue to work through the market needs in the winter. We're going to be doing a ribbon cutting when everything is up and ready. And until the heat and the panels are all up and ready to go, We will not do a ribbon cutting just yet, but we'll be continuing to support the market and making sure people know where to go. So thank you all.
Awesome. Thanks, Denise. Getting some questions on Facebook. Yeah, new applications are going to be required. It's not a judged entry. If you're a returning vendor, it's mostly just agreeing to the new terms of the market and then also getting updated contact information. So don't worry about getting your application denied or anything like that. Seeing some interest as well in potentially some extra pop-ups before Christmas or something before Thanksgiving. We can definitely look into those. That feedback's great. We might look at either something through the market or something sponsored by the Parks Department separate. Not totally sure, but we'll for sure explore those options. I'm glad that people are interested. Applications will be available online. If you're wondering, we're just waiting on our IT department to turn it into a fillable form for us through our software. So hopefully soon we'll have that link ready to go and people will be able to do it online. But yeah, we'll have those applications available in paper by Saturday, if nothing else. But I'm hoping that we'll have the rules and guidelines ready online before that. SNAP forms, yeah, they will. We don't generally do those online, but we can do those on paper, and those are good for 3 years. So if you have filled one out in the past 3 years, you're probably still good. I'm getting ready to do an audit on all of those and check and see who needs to do a new one. And I will be contacting you if I need one. But otherwise, if you've been accepting SNAP already, then you're good to keep going unless you hear otherwise.
One thing, Caleb, you might want to mention is the winter or the online market.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So for folks who remember from earlier in the season, we started our online market when we closed back in March. We're going to continue the online market. Some exciting news. Reed Health is coming on board. In addition to the SNAP program, they'll be sponsoring the online market for free for vendors for another 6 months. So pretty exciting news there. We'll be announcing that, and they'll be a kind of enhanced partner for that throughout the winter months. So we'll be doing some extra advertising for that as well. I know everyone's concerned about cold and flu season. So we're going to, try and offer lots of options for everybody moving forwards, either for pickup ahead of time or for going to have delivery options. And for folks that aren't involved with that, definitely, if you're interested, we have some slots still available in the online market for vendors. Our priority is to food vendors, but we can do it for other vendors as well. And that's through the platform local line. All right. Let me see. Do we have any more questions at this point? If not, I'll stick around in case there's anyone who wants to ask anything else. You're always welcome to shoot me an email or give me a call if you have any questions. But if not, I appreciate everyone's time tonight and letting me go over everything. And again, as I said before, appreciate your patience for sticking with us as we've tried to figure out all of the little bits and pieces of making the market run during COVID-19. So nothing else, I'll see you all Saturday at the market, and I hope you have a good night. Jerry, I think we had 13 people on Zoom, and looks like we had maybe 6 or 7 people watching on Facebook. So that, what is that? About 20 total. And I had a few people say that they would watch it later. Let's see. Hi, John. Alrighty. If that's it, I think I'll go ahead and end this. And thank you all so much.